like I said, I'm writing political erotica right now. And I think I got spun off of that because I started rereading Audre Lorde's The Power of Erotic, and how she was talking about how women's power is in our erotic, and in the patriarchy is what makes it pornographic, right? And to get that back, to feel sexy in who you are and how you look and how you making it work and how you put it together. What do they call it? What's my man's Drake? Fancy? What is it? You fancy, huh? Fancy, huh? Yeah, you fancy, huh? So I'm going to read this piece. It's called My Frosting. I love your frosting. Now you got me started to look the fingers. Now you got me starting to lick my fingers, sticky from the cream. How did you know that I like to lick the icing from the bottom of the bowl? Hot and dripping after it's been wet. I love the taste of your frosting on my buds, gladly lapping all I can like a kid loving cake. The sweetness might be too much for us, let alone the strokes from our tongues meeting on purpose. You lean in and share, me holding your wrist gently. May I? May I lick you there? Can you take it? My tongue, she strokes between your index and middle finger. We giggle like Catholic schoolgirls. Your gaze stays locked onto my essence while I taste the pleasantness you're serving. It's simple and nurturing. We pushed each other again. You greedy. Yeah, and it's all for you. Wiping the icing on the tip of my nose, sticking one finger in the bowl, the other in my mouth. I look down and saw your toes curl in your sandals. That excites me. We felt the wind from the kitchen door swing. My mind starts to wonder, the passerby. Y'all doing a wonderful job in there cleaning that bowl. Please pretend I'm not in the room. Spirit just entered with an oh God release as I deep throat your thumb. You gasp and grant me inspiration to continue this delectable feast. Looking deep into my eyes, they say to you, I need someone to hold me unflinching with purpose. The clanging of the pots and pans did not break our devouring of each other. Funny, I can't control myself. I don't want to. Your moans encourage more of what we desire. Unwrapping you with just my mouth. You'll be amazed at what happens when I don't use my hands to open the petals to your heart. Wow. Yeah, make you thirsty, hungry. You know, hey, thirsty and hungry. That's a good combination. That sounds like sex. So, I think that out of all the writers, I might be the more erotic one out of everybody. Is that okay? Okay. My mom said I'm a little fast, so that's okay. I was kissing in Bible school. That's okay. Yeah, kissing right. Kissing up in Bible school. It's okay. All right. So, okay, I'm going to read one more, and then I'm going to bring up a sister from Alicia, right? I haven't met her yet. There you go. Okay, and she's going to be reading from what's the name of the piece? Do you have it with you? Yes, Letters to My Lover. And you're standing in for Keith. So she's coming from all the way from California, standing in for another writer that couldn't be here. And I think that's really special. So special. You know that reggae song so special to them. Okay. So I have music in my head, I got films in my head. I got too much going on. But I'm gonna read this piece and it's called When I Rise in the Morning. No. Sorry, ladies. Now, I'm going to read this piece since I got to it. The numbers game. It's Tuesday, volunteer day at the center. I walked into the room. There she lay, face mixed between Mike and Cicely Tyson. Came close, poured the water. She wakes, then speaks truth through the cracks of her lips. Women are just a numbers game to me. I turned and looked into amazement and then realized, life is a numbers game. My dad ran numbers, didn't win all the time. Oppressed people traveling under the moon have been numbering stars for light years, didn't win all the time. Every southern woman that made a quilt to keep her safe and warm in the darkness of the night counted stitches, didn't win all the time. My dad ran numbers, didn't win all the time, but when he did, he brought it home, put it on the table, bought a pink Cadillac, a pink suit, me counting, I'm going to basketball camp. He would say, Mama, come on, let's dance. And they would dance and dance and dance around the house with those gleam and those dreams in their eyes. My great-grandfather and grandfather on my mother's side, dead, never knew them. My great-grandfather, grandfather on my dad's side, dead, never knew them. My father, only brother, my uncle, dead, knew him, loved him. My dad, my only father, dead, knew him, loved him. My brother, looks like my dad, same gleam, same dreams, but not my dad, not as lucky, he didn't win, got caught up in the game. My brother's numbers are 5120273. My other brother from another mother in Florida looks just like my dad, run a game with my dad, caught a case, copped a plea, his numbers were 612000273. Trayvon Martin II, 17, killed Stand Your Ground, Lord, Florida. James Anderson ran over 5 times, Mississippi. Nathaniel Sanders shot and killed APT, Texas. James Byrd dragged 3 miles, Texas. Martin Luther King assassinated, Tennessee. Oscar Grant shot 6 a.m. in a BART station, Oakland. Stephen Biko, massive head injuries, South Africa. Sheen Bell shot 50 times, New York. Amadou Diallo shot 41 times, New York. Malcolm X assassinated, New York. Segui again, 15. Stabbed to death, trans hate crime, Newark, New Jersey. See how the bodies add up? It's a numbers game. We don't win all the time, but when we do, we get a chance to keep our lives. Don't have to buy the coffin or the urn. It seems we only have the best parties when we die. Then the people dance in the streets with those dreams and those gleams in their eyes for justice, holding a cup of water to her parched lips. Psst, psst. Hey, you, Miss Lady. Yeah, don't look at me like that. I just got a hold of some bad pussy. I'll be back on my A game tomorrow. Then I saw the gleam, that dream in her eyes. Shh, please open your mouth so you can drink this water. Her lips parched open, me thinking, well, hell, she might have something here. The numbers games. Once a Mac, always a Mac, a true player for real. As I gazed at the IV drip in her arm, read the chart, put back on my mask and asked, do you have any emergency contacts? As we talk about cross-sectional oppression, right, and what that looks like for us, particularly for me as a black woman, and then I'm not overly butch, but if I was a black woman that was going through a transition or overly butch, then now I'm in the realm of a black man. And I think that that's where I came from with that poem. Because I look at my family, and what happened was, it's like, we're all the men in my family. I look at these pictures that my mom gives me, and I'm looking at all these beautiful matriarchs in my family. But I'm like, where are the men? We didn't get here by ourselves. And not all of them wayward either. So as I start looking down my history, and I say, man, I don't know my grandfather. I don't know my great-grandfather. I don't know on either side. So as my people migrated up from, because I call this up south, right? So they come up south, because everybody from down south come up here in New York, wherever they're coming from. Then I realized, like, oh, these were the people that decided that they didn't want to be a part of whatever was going on in the South. So my people left. My father left. My mother left. They meet in New York. They come back. They live back down south. I come back to Texas. I'm in Texas. And I'm just like, but why don't I know my grandparents? And so as I look at that, and I said to myself, wow, this is deep. I wonder how many of us have matriarchal pictures in our homes, and we look at our grandmothers and our aunts and cousins, and we say, where are the men? Oh, no, not all of them are gangsters. Not all of them are wayward. Not all of them are that, So as I had to research it myself and find out, and then I was volunteering at a center, and this woman, definitely trans, but she looked at herself as a man. And I said, now you're playing in my mind, and this poem came about. And I was like, wow, the cross-section of our oppression is really real for us. And the more you look as a black man, the more you be treated as a black man, right? And I was just like, wow. And then this poem came up, the Nimbus Game. So, up next. And so those are readers, right? I'm really excited. Like I said, I'm just meeting everyone for the first time. I'm just meeting y'all for the first time, but it feels like we're family already, right? And so I'm going to read one more. As we, I'm just going to read a little bit from Cheryl Clark. She wrote the introduction to this book. Was it ever radical to be identified as a lesbian by itself? Black liberation activist Ella Baker defined radicalism as shaking up a thing by its root. What do lesbians shake up at the roots by identifying ourselves as lesbians, dykes, bulldaggers, butches, femmes, muff divers, gender outlaws, and queer? Not heterosexual or gender privileged yet. Glad some lesbians and gays are not about to blow against DOMA. The same-sex marriage campaign has struck the radical LGBT queer movement, as I said in an earlier article. With the same-sex girl and boy next door lobby, with the grit and moxie, the work here within attests to the daring literary charts of Southern lesbians and their allies. The work is the operative term here. Grits challenges same-sex liberalism as well as homophobia and racism in the Southern United States. Just a little bit from Cheryl. And on that note, I'm going to close on this. Cheryl, to me, has been one of the activist writers who really just tells the truth. Like, she's really raw with it, and she just tells the truth. But she's actually really elegant, too, in her speech, you know. And when I met Cheryl, she brought me up from Texas. I was at the Fire Ending Conference. I'm just selling my little books, what's going on, you know, doing my little thing. So she comes up and she looks at the table. I really didn't know her at the time, but I never saw her physically, but I knew her work. And so Lisa Moore said, you know, this Cheryl Clark. I said, oh, really? Then it said, click, click. Oh, really? Hey, how are you? And then from that, she brings me up to Rutgers University from Texas. We had conversation back and forth, and we talked about publishing and what publishing is now and what that looks like. And so I told her, I said, you know, I was real nervous about asking her to write the introduction to the book. So I got Amber on her. I said, Amber, talk to her. You know, you talk to her, Amber. And so, you know, her and Amber went back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. And then all of a sudden, Amber gives me this piece. I said, she wrote something? Oh, my God, for real? And then we put it in, and then I went to her inauguration that she had at a space at LGBT Center in New York just this past couple of months. And so, yeah, of course, she didn't know I was going to be there. So I'm standing there at the mic getting ready to say something. She said, oh, that's Poet on Watch. I said, and oh, I got your book. Because she didn't have the book, and so I gave her the book personally. And that was kind of like a highlight for me to say that a mentor that I grew up reading wrote, like I said, wrote something in the book for me. So I'm going to do this piece. When I say I'm POW, you say not on my watch. I'm POW, Ann.
Not on my watch.
Not on my watch will we not lay here next to each other, emotions bared ass naked, your body, levitating from the not so fitted cotton gray flannel sheets, soft, wet, warm, and grimy from the night's love oil in you, calling my name. Yeah, you. While I listen to the heartbeat of my wisdom between your legs while sipping on inspiration. Not on my watch will I hunger in the darkness, pant like wolves do, hunger, but not caring who hears the screams, the moans, the shit, mama, daddy kind of ass slaps. You know. Me on top, you on bottom, strapped to the headboard, and strapped to the footboard, and candle wax drippings all down your ass crack. Now, my eyes ignore the salt-stained stare. You watch me ever so closely wiping down the windows that tell the stories. Not on my watch will I hold back the whispers, those that seep between the streams of consciousness, whispers. Those that seep between the streams of confessions, whispers. Those that seep between the streams of orgasms while your lips just saying the gospel in the last pew. You know, last Sunday, I'm a Texas dyke. Not on my watch. When we play games with each other like little girls do on seesaws of emotions and merry-go-rounds of drama, because, baby, we both know what this is, and it is what it is, because you set it up this way. So let's be okay with it. Not on my watch will you not tell me you love me. I'm POWN.
Not on my watch.
That concludes our reading today.